Yeah. Hey, hey, Big Guns and Pat. I will be turning some laps, but I'm finishing cleaning the track, so it might be a little boring for a few more minutes. I just used my little handheld scrubby that I clean the rails with when I'm just doing a light cleaning. The rails aren't that bad. And then I follow up with these Armor All wipes. I like these because they don't leave a lot of residue. I follow up with a dry paper towel after I do these, so I'm almost done with wiping down the track. I haven't cleaned the track in a couple of weeks actually, so. And yeah, you can see it definitely it gets the dirt off. No, it was like in the 40s here this morning and windy. It was just too cold for my old bones. But I have a couple of buddies coming out tomorrow, so, well, my one buddy, his son, and maybe his son's friend, so I might actually have two 15-year-old boys out on the boat tomorrow. That should be interesting. Not supposed to be quite as cold tomorrow, I don't think. Hey there. Figured I would clean the track before this afternoon's giveaway that I'm doing. Maybe once I'm done cleaning the track, I'll run each one of those cars that I'm giving away. You guys had some snow up north, didn't you? Yeah, I thought so. I thought you guys had some snow. Oh man, I forgot to wipe this section. Yeah. I do try to wipe this off with a paper towel before these Armor All wipes dry. When I really want to clean the track, I use Armor Roll, but Armor Roll does make the track a little slick. It takes a little bit to wear off, but the Armor Roll really gets the white clean, like it makes the track look almost brand new. Takes all the tire marks and stuff off. I haven't raced a lot in the last few weeks, so it's not really that dirty as far as track marks. Alright, just gotta do the main straightaway and we'll be done. Hey Google, make the garage lights white. Alright, that's good enough. Good enough for just me. Is it spring yet? Alright. Track is clean. Cleaner. What's going on with my TV? How come my TV is not coming on? Hey G-Wire. Hey Josh. Hey G. What is up with my TV? some technical difficulties apparently with this TV. Oh, there it goes. Maybe. Ah. Gotta put it on the right input, I guess. There we go. All right. What do you guys think? You like this view, or should I put the camera at the end of the track like I usually do? I think at the end of the track you get a better view of the cars. All right, we're going back. We're going for the normal view. I think that's pretty good. Just run a couple of laps since I just cleaned it. Oh. This is a Viper that I built, hot stock. This car runs good.
Yellow flag.
So you guys probably saw my giveaway video, right? I actually was just working on, if I'm gonna run these cars, I gotta I just put brand new pickup shoes on all of these giveaway cars. I don't wanna run them with new pickup shoes on them, but they run well. Hey, John. Hey, Jim. So what do you guys think? I think what I'm gonna do So initially, I was going to just give away 2 cars that Steven from Rooster Racing was going to provide me, but he was only able to provide me 1 car because he just got way behind on orders with the holidays and everything. So I have the Area 51 Super 7. I had ended up buying 1 each Tyco and AFX clip because his cars come with the Lexan body clips. So I figured I would give away both those cars with all these different clips, so you guys would have, whoever won would have different options for whatever body. They could use a Lexan body, they could use a Tyco wide pan body, or they could use an AFX or Auto World body. But then I started adding extra stuff to the giveaway. The Bulldog chassis has the clip molded in, so there's not much you can do with that. That's one of the limitations of the Bulldog, is that they molded the like AFX style clip right into the chassis. So you are limited to using that kind of body with the Bulldog chassis. Super 7 and Viper are the same, use the same clips. So this is a regular Super 7 from Hardin Creek that I'm going to give away. But my thinking was, hey machine, hey Doug. My thinking was, I kind of feel like this Viper that I built and this Area 51 Super 7 are probably the 2 best cars. So my thought was that whoever wins the first giveaway can choose whichever car they want and in whichever configuration. The first 2 cars will come with, well, I only have 1 of these Lexan body clips. So if someone wins if someone wins and wants the Area 51 with the Lexan body clip, they'll also get an AFX clip and a Tyco clip. The second car, like let's say it's the Viper, would come with the 2 clips, but not a Lexan body clip. And then so on. You know, the Bulldog chassis, the other Super 7 chassis, and then this Auto World Super 3 new car in the package. So that's kind of my train of thought as far as how I'm going to do this giveaway, is just let whoever wins first pick whichever one they want and move on down the line. Second person gets to pick from what's left and so on. So this, I will admit, this motor box is not the one that's going to stay in this car. The motor box that Steven sent me, the armature was not good in it. The 4-ohm Area 51. He's sending me another one. It's in the mail. I ordered some silly sponge tires from him as well for my Fusions, but I was hoping that was going to be here yesterday and it didn't get here. I'm hoping it comes today and I could pop that motor. This is actually a stock Viper 6-ohm armature that I put in here for now, and the car runs pretty good actually with that. But I'm curious to see how the 4-ohm armature Area 51 runs compared to, say, his regular 6-ohm Rooster Racing Super 7. So I was hoping to be able to do that comparison before I even did this giveaway stuff, but it didn't work out. Personally, I still think the Viper is the better platform. So it's just the most flexible and customizable. You're not limited to the can type setup. Not that you can't work on these, but it takes a little, prying those ears and getting the end bell off, and it's just a lot easier to swap armatures in a Viper. This car has this is actually a Wizard. This is a spare hot stock that I had in one of my Fusions that I swapped out. It's got a number of races under its belt, but club races, but it's still perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. Just I put a new armature in the last in a couple of my cars. The last club race I had, so I had a couple of armatures laying around. So I was like, and I had this Viper chassis, and I had the spare magnet. I pretty much had everything to build another Viper. So out of spare parts, that is a new end bell in there. The vet body, yes, the vet body is a standard AFX, so it would clip onto the Viper with an AFX clip. Like so. Yeah, it's a nice looking, this will be a good running car. I've been thinking about getting 4 of these bodies from Terry in the IROC colors for my track, the red, white, blue, and yellow, putting them on either Super 7s or some Vipers, because these are pretty durable. They can take a pretty good hit. So. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. That is a standard AFX type clip, so yeah. Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't, I got nothing against Auto World. They have their place, their price range, and and the cars work. Their quality is suspect, and you usually have to do a bunch of tweaking and tinkering to get them running. But hey, they run once you put a little effort into it. Just shouldn't have to put that much effort into getting the car to run out of the package. But I guess, you get what you pay for. If you buy a Super 7 from Steven Rooster Racing, it's going to be tweaked and tuned and ready to go. But, this is a what, how much does he charge? $60 with the body? 55 for the regular, 65 for the Area 51, I forget. So obviously it's almost 3 times the cost of an Auto World car. So don't get me wrong, I know Auto World has their place in the hobby. I sleep with that under my pillow. So what do you guys think? Do you want to see me run some of these cars? You have any questions on any of these cars or anything in particular you want me to run? If I'm going to run these, I'm going to take these new pickup shoes off because, this is for the giveaway. I don't want to put marks on them. Mayor and Adam, supposedly my 2 good friends. I guess that's what friends do, right? Give each other a hard time. Don't worry, Mayor. Next time you're here, I'll remember. I have a good memory. Laps on which? Mayor. You want me to do some laps with this purple Viper combo? Well, hold on. I'm going to put the old pickup shoes back on. I never throw pickup shoes out unless they're like worn all the way through. So I have plenty of like semi-worn ones. Yeah, that'll work. These will work. Can you run to the store? I need milk. I don't have a grocery store on my track there, 41 Willie's. The mayor might, though. He's got all kinds of buildings and stuff going on now, so he might be able to stop Let me get you some milk. All right, got the slightly worn pickup shoes back on here. Oops, we need our clip. Okay. You have a Piggly Wiggly. All right, we got the Purple Viper ready to run. This is a stock Super 7. But I really wish I had the 4 ohm motor box for this Area 51, but I think it'll be here hopefully today, or it might be early next week. But whoever wins it, trust me, it will have the correct 4 ohm motor box from Rooster Racing in there. All right, let me move the camera back over to the track. We'll see how this hard body Viper runs. So that Viper that you just saw me run was a similar armature, but with a Lexan body, and I was doing 2.7 seconds with that car. So let's see what the now that car had an independent front end. This has a Viper front end, not independent though. Let's see. Go. Sorry, whoever wins the purple Corvette, I just crashed your car. So I'm doing about 3 seconds, 3.0. That's without pushing it because I'm trying not to crash it. Runs pretty good. 3.01. I'm almost down under 3 seconds. Yes, Hot Wheels. This is a pretty fast layout, and the car that I was running is pretty fast. Let's see how the this is the Area 51 with the 6 ohm Viper on. This has pretty strong magnets. It has level 10 magnets. Yeah, for a 6 ohm arm, these level 10 magnets are too strong for how low this car is. I could feel, I could almost go all out. So you definitely want to put level 6 magnets in a 6 ohm car, which is what Steven does. If you buy his regular Rooster Racing 6 ohm car, it has level 6 magnets. He went with the stronger level 10 magnets in the stronger armature motor. It's just not fun to drive right now. It sticks too well. Doing low threes though, 3.0 on that car as well. So I'm curious to see. I personally think the level 10 magnets, even with the 4 ohm arm, are going to be a little too strong for my liking. And I spoke to Steven about this, and he agreed. He said this Area 51 car is built more for home users who really want the car to handle well and not come off the track, and that's what you're going to get with the Area 51 with how low he has the car and those level 10 magnets. So. Let me Hey, J.W. Moore. I had to show off. Uh-oh, Zim. Sorry. Hey, Snuggie. See you, Mayor. Have fun with that snow. All right, so this next car is the stock Super 7 from Hardin Creek. So it's got the bigger, higher front tires, single flange. It's basically higher off the track. This car is made for your home click together, AFX or Auto World type track. So, and this does have level 10 magnets because of how much higher off the track he has it. So when you buy the stock Super 7, not the GTS Super 7, it's a higher up, but it has more downforce. So. See what this thing does. Oh, sorry, I crashed the Corvette again. It's so smooth though. That's one thing I love about this car. It is very smooth. So by comparison, this is doing about 3.5 seconds. So it's about a half a second slower than the other cars. I could push it and probably get a little better times, but I want to safely keep it on the track. About 3.5 seconds. 3.4. It's a nice car, nice running car. And these are a good buy too. I think these are what, $34 or something like that, or 36. Hey Jack, what's going on, buddy? Oh yeah, Hot Wheels, different magnet strengths for sure, and how high and low you set the car also determines the downforce of the magnets. So there's a lot to play with as far as setting up your car, and that's what I have fun with in this hobby, is setting cars to how I like them. But everybody's different, so that's what's fun. I had somebody commenting on one of my video, the giveaway video about the Super 3, how they put a lower ohm armature in it and think it's great. And I think that's great if that's what you want to do. You know, that's what's great about this hobby is there's so many options and everybody's different. So there's no right or wrong, really. Well, there could be some wrongs, but you're awake. All right. Yeah, I was gonna see if you guys wanted to race today, but Vinny couldn't make it and Ralph couldn't make it, so it would have been you and me. I figured I would clean the track and do a little live video here. I gotta go out and do some shopping before my 3 p.m. giveaway video that I'm doing. So. My slot plans for the new year is pretty much the same as this year. Keep trying to attend as many club races as I can and still trying to crack into the top 3 and get well, I've had a couple of podium finishes. I finished 3rd in a couple of races, but never in like Fusion, Spec Racer, or Super Stock. Had a couple of 4th place finishes, but against the big boys that I race with, it would be quite an accomplishment if I could get 3rd place. But. "3 p.m. Eastern Time. I live in Florida." And I did put that in my description of my giveaway, but I know you guys don't read, so I put 3 p.m. Eastern. Or maybe you haven't seen my giveaway video yet. I know, we don't need any stinking directions, right? Let's see how this Bulldog, this old Bulldog chassis runs. This thing hasn't been run. I got this chassis. I'm gonna move this camera a little bit, a little more light. I got this chassis from Terry Flynn. This is kind of a Hardin Creek spin. He was selling these like over a year ago when Bulldogs were kind of, might even be almost closer to 2 years, but. So this doesn't have neodyme magnets, it has the magnet bar. But I have no idea really how this this thing hasn't been run in a while. But the Corvette body fits right on there. Let's see what this Bulldog can do. I don't really know what gearing or anything is in it. I just know it's a 6 ohm armature. There is no better when it comes to magnets. It's really your preference and the car and the setup of the car. You know, there are guys that are dedicated to no magnets, or magnets are the worst thing in the world, and they just want to run their pancake motor T-jets. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I do that sometimes too, but I like magnet cars too. I like to go fast. I don't like to, they're like, oh, that's not real racing. Oh, you don't have to drive the car. Well, you do have to drive the car. Maybe you don't have to drive it it's not as hard to drive as a T-jet, but then you got to go as slow as molasses with a T-jet too. So everyone's different. I like to set the car so it's a good combination of speed and handling, and that you still have to drive the car. And it depends also who's racing. If I have people here that really never raced or don't know how to race, I'm going to put cars on with more downforce that handle better so they could have fun and not fall off every 2 seconds. So there really, again, there's no right or wrong answer or setup that I can tell you as far as how that goes. All right, let's see what this Bulldog does. Feels a little rusty. Probably could use some oil too. Yeah, I might have to tune this thing up. Maybe it just needs some laps. This is in the doing 4-second range right now. Oh no, I crashed the Corvette again. Sorry. Well, there you go. That's the Bulldog. It runs fine. It's not as fast as the other cars. Well, Snuggie, some people like to tinker with their, whether it's Auto World or I love to tinker. I'm always tweaking my cars and trying to make them run better, and especially my Fusions, my club cars. That's a never-ending tweaking to try and get the handling right and the speed and best compromise for downforce and handling and speed and all that, depending on the track I'm racing on. So there's a lot of variables. Bring you guys back around over here. Put these cars back together for the giveaway. I really need to go to Costco, but I'm dreading going to Costco today. The last Saturday before Christmas. I think I'd have to be nuts. Maybe I'll go later in the afternoon after my giveaway. Aw, Snuggie, don't be such an Auto World basher. But where else are you going to get a running slot car for, under $20? So, they have their place in the hobby. And if you're on a budget, again, like I said, this Super 7 costs 3 times as much as this Auto World. It's pretty much 2 to 3 times. So you could have 3 cars for the price of 1. I try not to be negative. I know we joke and stuff, and there are some guys that take things too seriously in this hobby, like bashing magnet cars because they say there's no skill in driving them, and whatever. I don't get in. I don't get into all that. I do whatever is fun to me in this hobby. One thing I don't like about I guess I shouldn't say I don't like, but Terry likes to bend the top of the hanger so it holds the hanger in better. But it does make it harder to put the pickup shoes on a little bit. Then he's got these long springs that you gotta kind of make sure get under the pickup shoe before you push it on. And then I really don't like how the pickup shoe front gets bent when you're sliding it over you got to kind of tweak the pickup shoe a little bit on these Super 7s, in my opinion. Like when I took this pickup shoe off, look at how far out the top got bent. I might as well leave it that way to slide it back over this post, and I'll just bend it back. All right, we're back in action. These are Viper pickup shoes. I don't particularly like the pickup shoes that come on the Super 7s. See you, JW. Hey, Flyboy. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to see how these pickup shoes look. Since I kind of had to bend them. Actually, that doesn't look too bad, actually. All right. So that's this car runs good. This stock. Whoever wins this on their home AFX track, I think this is going to be a really good setup for the home track. You guys already know that, though. I know a lot of you guys have Super 7s, but put my pickup shoes back on this Viper. See, the Viper without the bent hanger, you can just lay this shoe down and just push it forward, and it clips right under the, pops right in. You don't have to put this end in first and then stretch it over the tab. You can just lay it down like that, right over the spring, push it down and push it forward, and it clips right in. And they don't really come off. I mean, this has the bumper guard on it, so I mean, putting that little tweak, bending it forward, yes, it does certainly help hold the pickup shoe in even better, but I've never really had a big problem with pickup shoes coming off on my Vipers. I guess on the Super 7, since it doesn't have the bumper guard in the front, it's a good idea. Yeah, you got a good point there, Dell. For younger kids, if I, like you said, remember when we were little, if we had the selection and choices that Auto World has out now, we didn't know any better about how cars, as long as they ran. But it looks like there's some cool stuff coming out in the new year, both AFX and Auto World. This car already had a body AFX clip on it. Yeah. All right, what happened to my Bulldog? Oh, the Bulldog is still on this Corvette. I think I'm going to work on giving this a little bit of a tune-up. I probably could use a little cleaning, oiling, so I'm probably going to do that before the giveaway. But that's it. That's what we got. We got the Bulldog, we got the Super 7, we got two Super 7s, we got a Viper, we got an Auto World. So I got a lot of different chassis covered. So hope to see you guys later. I think I'm going to sign off for now and try and get some things done before 3 o'clock. I'll be here before I know it. So. Do I still like the True Speed controller? I never liked or disliked it. It wasn't mine. It was a buddy of mine's. I just used it to do a review. So I never really got a lot of time. What I didn't like about the True Speed controller was the trigger was a little hard. I'm used to a really soft, easy to squeeze trigger, and some guys don't like that. But on my wiperless controller, it's very easy to I like to feather touch the control anyway, so that suits me. Some guys like to set their sensitivity and be able to squeeze the trigger all the way. I very rarely, other than coming down the straightaway, I'm not on the trigger that much. So it all depends on your style. But I've really gotten used to the wiperless controllers, and those are very smooth and pretty light pressure on the spring. But those True Speeds, even though they have an adjustment on the trigger tension spring, even at the lightest setting, I still found it a little stiff for my liking, so to speak. But all right, guys, I can keep going on and on if you let me. So I am gonna sign off for now, and you need a controller. I didn't think about having another controller give to be part of my giveaway, but Pat, I don't know what you have now for controllers or what you're looking to spend. Um, but these controllers, a lot of the guys have these Viper, the DD, what is this? Not Viper, DeFalco 505. I use these as a house controller. So when people come over to race, it has the variable sensitivity. So you can pretty much control any car with this controller having this variable sensitivity. And this is about a $90 controller. OS3 makes a similar priced controller as well with the sensitivity. I guess I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you can don't look at how messy this drawer is. I gotta clean this up, but you can get into, this is a higher end DeFalco controller with braking, traction control, and sensitivity, but this is like $140 controller. And then you have, this is my OS3 All Pro wiperless controller. This is a $250 controller. I really like this controller. It's really grown on me. Like I said, it's a very, very smooth. Not having the wiper, it's just really, I like the sensitivity of that controller. But it's all kind of what you want to spend. I highly recommend getting a controller with a variable sensitivity, though, because it can control a wide range of cars. Yeah. The DeFalco 505 is a 2-wire controller. I cut off the alligator clips because when I had my AFX track, I just had a terminal block, so I had this screwed to there's no brakes. You don't get a third wire until you add brakes to the controller. So. But I know a lot of guys have the DeFalco 505 and really like them. They have the OS3 Lite controller. They really like those. But they're like $70, $80 controllers. Some guys don't want to spend that much money on a controller. There are some other options out there, but as far as a variable controller with a variable sensitivity, I think those are the two cheapest controllers out there. And they're bigger. They're made for an adult hand. You know, they're not a kid-size controller. Though I don't think they're too big for a kid to use. But. So Jim, the need for braking, like when I'm racing a club race, my faster fusions, braking lets the car like maybe I can show you guys an example. Some of you guys I know already know this, but the braking only works when you're completely off the controller. So you see how this contact here is touching that when the trigger's not touched? That engages the brake. The brake doesn't do anything otherwise. So if you never come off the throttle, the brake is not going to do anything. And this control sets how much of the brake, it's a 100 ohm resistor that gets put across the rails and it slows the motor down. So, for example, when I'm racing, let me see if you guys can, if you can see when the car, I'll try and give an example of braking. So I'm going to turn the brake off. Sorry. So maybe this car is not and depending on the downforce of the car and the magnet strength, the braking has less play, but it determines how far the car coasts when you come off the throttle. So with no brakes, you can see the car, went like however many feet. With brakes turned all the way on, it comes to a complete, like when I come off on the brake here, the car stops on a dime with full brake. I usually set depending on the car, maybe 3, 4, or 5. So when I come here, like when I'm coming down this inner straightaway at full speed, I'll come off the throttle right by this turn, and I'll engage the brake so that the car can kind of coast around that turn and not go flying off and smash. So like right now, so I just brake there, and it's all a quick flick of your finger coming off. So I'll brake there, I'll brake there. I basically brake coming down like every main straightaway. So coming down this main straightaway, I'll just come completely off the throttle and ride the brake around that turn. And then same thing here, when I'm coming into this turn, I'll just come completely off and use the brakes around this turn. Same thing coming down here. When I get to this point, I'm going to brake around this turn. And on these inner, I'll kind of feather the throttle on those S turns, but it's all your style. It takes some getting used to using the brakes, but I don't know if you were able to see how setting the brakes all the way, that car kind of stopped on the dime. Exactly, braking into the turn. That's what the braking does. And depending on the car, if I'm using a less downforce car, like a Mega G Plus car or even an AFX magnet traction, those cars coast a pretty good distance when you come off the throttle. Having the brakes, you can reduce that coast, and you can set the brake how you like it to kind of brake into the turns and kind of coast around the turns, so to speak. So traction control, how can I explain that? So this controller has my sensitivity here, the choke here. The choke I have off. Basically, what this choke setting does is it kind of reduces power to the throttle, so it kind of changes the curve of the trigger. So I don't use the choke really. I want full speed. I want just the full sensitivity of the throttle. The traction control though, or coast, depends on what controller you have. The OS3 calls it coast. So this controller, if I have it set to brake, this pot controls braking. If I have it set to the C, you see how the car, I'm not even pushing the trigger and the car is running on its own, depending on how I turn this knob. So now the car just stopped. So you can kind of achieve the same thing as braking by using coast, and you could come off the trigger and let the car kind of coast around the turn. And you could set that coast speed for as slow or as fast as you want. Depends on your style and what you like to do. Everyone kind of develops their own style, but I like to leave the choke off, and I don't use traction control. I use braking. Though on some tracks, depending on the lane, if it's a really tight turn, like maybe on the yellow lane, I might actually use the coast and let the car coast around the tight turn. But you just have to remember that you have the coast on, because when you come off the trigger, it gets tricky in a club race, because when you come off the trigger, the car is still going. So you got to make sure you dial that back down. But it really all depends on what you like. Yeah. Oh, for sure, Pat. That's not a cheap controller. It's not for everyone. You don't really need it. If I was racing at home on my AFX track or a smaller track, not club racing, yeah, that's probably overkill. Although, don't get me wrong, there are guys that have really nice AFX tracks, like the Mayor. I wish I could get it back on his track and use my coast and braking on that track, but it all depends on the track you're racing on and the cars you're racing and all of that. So I'm constantly changing those adjustments as far as setting the sensitivity, for me, I mostly just mess with the sensitivity and the braking adjustments when I race, but that's just me. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, but I'm not saying everybody needs to rush out and buy a $250 All Pro OS3 controller, but if you race on, routed big tracks with a club, you're kind of, it's helpful for sure. A level 4 magnet package car, albino, I forget what size, independent front, but this is just something I slapped together again and was pleasantly surprised with how nice this car runs. And it looks good too. I like the white tires with the red, white, and blue. It's just a fun, good running car. What's the blue dial? What blue dial? on that container? Blue dial. I don't know what you mean, Al. Blue dial. What blue dial? What am I missing? What's that blue dial on that container? I don't know what you're talking about. Did you mean on the controller, the blue dial? Do you mean this? This is not a dial. That you can't adjust this. This is what takes the place of a wiper. So maybe that's what you're asking. Um, so like for example, on my Defalco, I used to use this to club race. This has your wiper and the different. This is a 30 band. This is a nice controller too. But and depending on where you are on the band determines how fast you go. This controller doesn't have a wiper. This thing, this potentiometer, I guess it is, takes the place of the wiper. This is much smoother. Because you don't feel the, the little pad going across each band. You kind of feel that, even though it's relatively smooth. But when you go from a wiper to wiperless, it's completely smooth. Some guys don't like it though. They're used to feeling that wiper. I've gotten used to this, so now when I go back to a wiper type controller, it just, I don't know. I feel like I don't have the control that I do with the wiperless. Again, that's just me. There are guys that don't use that wiperless type of controller that kick my butt every time we race. So it's not like it's going to make you the greatest racer in the world. You still have to learn how to drive the cars. I do, Al, but it's only because I've gotten used to it's what I've gotten used to, and I prefer that wiperless feel. I like the really smooth, but I'm the type of guy that just kind of gently like feathers the trigger, so that wiperless controller is good for my style of driving. There is less maintenance on the wiperless controller. There's basically no maintenance on it other than maybe from time to time you might have to. Yeah, I really know. There's no maintenance on it. Actually, there's nothing to clean. There's no lubing the wiper or cleaning the wiper. Yeah, so it's pretty much maintenance free. Hey Ridge Runner, autocomplete. Did I miss something? Oh, from Jim's earlier or Al's question about the. Yeah, I would say so. Machine slot car. It is an upside. And again, there's really, it does become personal preference. The controller is a personal preference too. It's what you like and what you get used to. A lot of the guys that I race with at the club level, I would say over half of them use the wiperless type of controller, like that OS3 All Pro. All right, guys. I am gonna sign off now for sure because I'm only 2 hours away from. I don't know what time is it. It's 11, 12, 1, 4 hours away from being back on here for my giveaway. So I guess I'll chat with most of you guys in about 4 hours. All right. So enjoy the rest of your morning and early afternoon, and hopefully you guys will all be on later. And good luck on the giveaway. Thanks, guys. All right, appreciate it. Chat with you guys later. Bye.